Muy buenas gente, muy buenas YouTube, ¿qué tal estáis? Aquí al Cabi82, como siempre, bienvenidos aquí al canal. Y aquí estamos en vuestras pantallas con Marty y McFly en este grandísimo Regreso al Futuro, el juego, basado en la trilogía de la gran saga dirigida por Robert Zemeckis. Y aquí, gente, pues estamos, ya sabéis, en el videojuego. Hay cosas que coinciden con la película, ¿vale? Diálogos, como en el capítulo anterior, ¿no? Cuando le muestra Doc a Marty el DeLorean por primera vez, ¿no? En el centro comercial, eso todo salía de la película, pero también hay cosas como la que se ven aquí en la pantalla que cambian, ¿no? Hay argumentos, ¿no? Es un videojuego, no tiene que ser exactamente como la película, pero sí, pues para rendir homenaje a la saga, pues hay diálogos que son, y escenas recreados en este videojuego, pues para hacer honor, ¿no? a la película. Y por supuesto, hay cambio de guión en este juego. Como veis, aquí tenemos a la hermana, a Edna, ¿no? Que es la hermana del vice... Creo que era el vicepresidente Strickland o el subdirector. Me parece que interpretaba el subdirector Strickland, que era el director donde iba Marty al instituto. Que era el que decía que era un vago, que los McFly nunca serían nada. Bueno, todo eso en la película estoy hablando, ¿eh? Y aquí tenemos a Edna, que para nada sale en la película. Para nada sale esta señora, ¿vale? Es algo totalmente que cambia en el videojuego, ¿vale? Y bueno, ¿qué misión tenemos que hacer? ¿Vale? Para poneros al día. Pues encontramos el DeLorean, que por arte de magia apareció en nuestra casa, y parece ser que Doc está atrapado en el pasado. Y adentro del DeLorean había un zapato que lo tenemos por aquí. Ahí lo tenéis, ¿vale? Veis que hay un zapato más nuevo y otro más viejo, ¿vale? Y el nuevo es el que encontramos dentro del DeLorean. Y el viejo es la pareja del nuevo que perteneció a Edna Strickland, ¿vale? A la Edna joven, ¿vale? A la Edna joven. Y bueno, ¿qué queríamos hacer? Pues aquí veis estas cajas con periódicos, que a ver si me aclaro de una vez, ¿no? Pues que tenemos que encontrar la fecha exacta, ¿vale? Que hemos hablado con ella, pues donde se quemó un bar clandestino o algo así. Y fue ese día donde nos dijo que perdió el zapato. Y si sacamos la fecha, conseguimos la fecha para regresar al pasado y salvar a Doc, ¿no? Así, gente, lo dicho, pues nada más, seguimos, ¿vale? Perdonad por el rollazo, pero que tenía que poneros al día. Así, gente, vamos allá, vamos aquí con Marty y ponernos aquí al asunto, a ver cómo, si por lo menos el mando de la Xbox, porque normalmente dice estos tipos de juegos son para mando, pero me está dando un poco de problemas para lo que son los ítems, para determinados ítems, para determinadas cosas, ¿vale? Así que bueno, intentaré no cagarla mucho, porque me parece que bueno, vamos a ver cómo lo hacemos. Gente, lo dicho, pues muchas gracias una vez más, y por supuesto los fieles, los que siempre estáis ahí, siempre apoyando a muerte. Muchísimas gracias. Vamos allá. Vale. Vale. Le habíamos dicho acerca de los... Sí. Creo que tenemos que seguir revisando, ¿eh? Ah, esto no lo había visto. Fotografías.
Is that
sí.
Vice Principal Strickland?
Mother never could keep little Gerald out of her clothes.
Me parece que no sé si había visto esa fotografía. Es que no me acuerdo. Vale. Periódicos. Fotografía. Vale, vamos otra vez a decirle que marche.
She keeps it hot in here.
Vale. Vale, vamos... Esto vamos a adelantarlo, ¿eh? Vale. Vale. Vale, tenemos que... ¿Qué es esto? Dulces.
Oh, the candy looks older than I am.
Comedero. No, el gato no quiere. Vamos a ver.
Juveniles collide with manure truck. Nice picture.
El camión de estiércol, eso es lo de Biff. No sé, tío.
Brown mansion destroyed. 1962. No, that's not where Doc's stranded.
No, a ver, tenemos que buscar la...
Einstein brought me this shoe, and Miss Strickland lost the shoe on the day the speakeasy burned down. But when did the speakeasy burn down? I at least need to know the year.
El año.
That's peculiar. The water still hasn't come to...
Vale, pues necesitamos saber... Ah, los binoculares. Vale, espera. Espera, sí. Vale, a lo mejor podemos saber el año. A ver, nos quedan los binoculares. Espera. Ahí.
Hey, mind if I use your binoculars for a sec?
Go ahead, dear.
Ahí, videoclub. 1932. Ahí lo pone, 1932. Lo tenemos, ahí está, Biff. Lo tenemos.
Rebuilt in February 1932. So the fire must have happened before then. But when? I need a date.
Don't look at me. I'm far too old for you.
Necesita una fecha. Pues la fecha es la que tiene el zapato. ¿O no?
Miss Strickland lost that shoe on the day the speakeasy burned down, and I know that was sometime in 1932. But I've got to get more specific than that if I'm gonna find Doc.
Vale, a ver, esto antes no lo tenía.
Excuse me, Miss Strickland?
¿Dónde estaba el bar clandestino? ¿Puedo ayudarme a sus periódicos? Es que esto...
I guess somewhere in these stacks there must be an article about this.
Naturally. Yeah, I probably wrote it myself.
Vale, esto ya lo habíamos visto.
What date that article came out?
Aquí.
Well, obviously the day after the speakeasy burned down.
Al día siguiente.
Don't let me keep you from your business.
Al día siguiente. Vale, vamos a... Trofeos de gatos.
What are these?
My editorial trophies.
Cat Lovers Quarterly.
It's legitimate journalism.
Vale, a ver, vamos a distraerla otra vez. Radiador. Vale, mientras va otra vez a la cocina. A ver, vamos a ver si podemos... Aquí.
Let's see. Ground broken on site of former speakeasy. Singer vanishes. Hill Valley Expo delights crowd. Soup kitchen exposed. Here we go. Speakeasy arsonist slain. Legal procedure gave way to old-fashioned vengeance last night when a mob descended on the Hill Valley police station. The suspect in the speakeasy arson case, a drifter known as Carl Sagan, was pulled from his... Carl Sagan? It's Doc! Killed by a mob. What's the date? June 14th, 1931. Jeez, I gotta rescue him.
¡Hostia, chaval!
My newspapers!
Sorry, Miss Strickland. Let me...
No! You've gotten my history out of order! Oh, do you know how long it'll take to fix what you've done? Oh, get out! Get out! Get out! Help! Police! I'm being attacked by hooligans!
Por hooligans. ¡Ay, madre, qué pesada! Vale, pues tenemos que volver a 1931. Bueno, nos hemos cambiado y todo, mira. Vale. Gasolina.
Marty! Where you been, son? And what are you doing in that getup?
Estoy vestido para una fiesta de faro. A ver, no se lo podemos decir. Es un uniforme de trabajo, es un disfraz para una obra de la escuela. Vale.
Didn't I tell you? I got the lead in the school play. We're doing...
Grapes of Wrath?
Right.
Oh, Steinbeck! Who are you playing? Never mind, you don't have to explain. I'm sure whatever it is you're up to, you know what you're doing, right?
I hope so.
Hey, sometimes you gotta go out on a limb for the ones you love, right? Wish my dad had understood that. You won't stay away too long.
You'll barely know I was gone.
Vale, pues tenemos que marchar. Vamos.
Ready to go, Einstein?
Nos piramos. Los circuitos de tiempo. Ahí está.
Time circuits? On. Flux capacitor? Fluxy.
Fluiceando. Vale. La fecha.
Okay, if Doc's gonna get killed on June 14th, 1931, I'll just show up the day before and get him out. I hope you know what you're doing, Doc.
Pa, pa, para, pa, 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 para, pa, pa. Buah. Pa, para, pa. ¡A lindo copyright! ¡Venga! Basta. Vale. Buah, la parte que sonaba la banda sonora cuando dejamos el tiempo. Es que los pelos de punta, tíos. Mi infancia, volvió mi infancia con esa... Con ese fragmento de la banda sonora. No sé si lo tendré que editar eso, ¿eh? Como me lo marquen como copy, lo tendré que editar. La verdad es que suena muy poco. Las canciones, espero que no... Vale, pues chicos, estamos en 1931.
Einstein, where'd you go now, boy?
La torre del reloj, mirarla. La torre. Vale. O nada. Vale, esa es la comisaría. Esos son los cines que ve al final. ¡Hombre, mira quién está ahí! ¡Strickland!
Young man, excuse me, young man.
De Joven, la vieja de
You're
Joven.
the only man in the street, and I'm looking for a man in the street reaction. Naturally, you know about the explosion that destroyed this illegal gin establishment.
I read about it, yeah.
What's your opinion of Carl Sagan, the stranger who single-handedly did what the law has been unable to do for 10 long years, namely, rid Hill Valley of the scourge of liquor?
Yo conozco a Dodd, tiene que haber un error. No podemos decirle que le conocemos.
There's gotta be some sort of mistake here. Carl wouldn't do something like that.
It's surprising the lengths a person will go to when it's a clear-cut matter of right and wrong. You've got an honest look about you. You do support the side of righteousness, I trust.
Lo apoyo.
You can mark me down as a supporter.
The young man said, flashing a boyish yet virile grin. Hill Valley needs more upstanding youths like yourself. Do you have a message for the vicious gangsters who still roam these streets, no doubt plotting to corrupt our citizens with another den of booze, sin, and debauchery?
¿Dónde puedo encontrarlo?
Ask him where I can get the address.
Ah, I see! Because you want to blast it to smithereens just like Carl Sagan did. With public-spirited citizens like you around, the lawless element will be on the run in no time. Mr. May I get your name?
Yeah, it's...
Es Sonny Crockett, Harry Callahan, Michael Corleone. Ostras, nos vamos a... Corleone, que queda muy guapo. Corleone.
Michael Corleone.
Thank you for sharing your candid opinions, Mr. Corleone. Edna Strickland, Hill Valley Herald.
Strickland, ahí está.
I know. I met you back. I'm familiar with your work.
You read my column? How sweet! I know it's just an etiquette column, but I believe it'll lead to bigger and better... Oh!
Einstein, no. Down, boy.
Is this wretched creature yours? He assaulted me once before.
What's got into you?
Aggressive dogs must be kept on leash at all times. It's the law. Look it up.
Doc. I gotta find Doc.
Vale, tenemos que ir a la comisaría. Vale, mientras caminas presiona el botón derecho del mouse para que Marty corra. Vale, es la B. Vale, es la B para correr. Vale, ¿y esto? Entrada a la papelería. Anda, ¿y esto? ¿Podemos entrar aquí?
No.
Oh, vale, ahí está.
I guess this is where the speakeasy burned down. How'd Doc ever get mixed up in that?
Pues sí. Oh. Estas cosas.
Lamont's House of Ermine. I guess there's not much call for fur coats in the middle of the Depression, especially in June.
Esto es... Oficina del abogado.
Hello?
No solicitors!
Vale, o sea, nos van a echar. Donde sea que eso, nos van a echar, tío. Letrero de peletero. ¿Qué es eso? Peletero.
Lamont's House of Ermine. I guess there's not much call for fur coats in the middle of the
Vale,
Depression.
esto ya lo había leído, Hola. Aquí. ¿Qué es esto?
Hey, can I get some moose?
What does this look like? A hunting lodge?
Solo. Vale, esto es para afeitarse. ¿Esto qué es?
Majestic arms. Transients welcome.
Armas. Ya, pero no vamos a entrar ahí, ¿no?
I'm not so sure I want to stay in a place that welcomes transients. Wow, looks like they used a real shark.
Ostras. Vale, aquí se acaba, ¿no? Aquí se acaba el escenario. Sí. La torre del reloj. Ahí está. Entrada de la corte.
According to the newspaper, Doc's not in the courthouse. He's in jail.
Ah, es verdad, es verdad. Espérate. Ah, pero mola recorrer los escenarios, tío. Mola mucho. A ver, Einstein, ¿qué pasa, tío? ¿Qué pasa, chaval? ¿Qué pasa aquí?
Hey, how you doing, Einie?
Vale. Pues parece ser que tenemos que irnos, ¿no? Eso es el banco. Vale. Este banco. De aquí nos echan también, seguro.
How can I help you, sir?
¿En qué puedo ayudarlo? En
Got
nada.
any money? I don't really have any business in there.
Exactamente.
Bank of Italy?
Vale, vamos a la comisaría. ¿Y esto? Anda, aquí podemos entrar. ¡Qué casualidad!
McFly?
Biff?
Kid!
Grandpa?
That's Mr. Tannen to you, Artie. What are you doing out here?
Well, I was getting kind of hungry, so I figured I'd come down here for some free soup.
Just thought I'd come down for some soup. Think, McFly. The DA's throwing around subpoenas like Babe Ruth.
I don't think Ruth's a pitcher anymore.
Shut it. If one of those subpoenas landed in the hands of my number cruncher, I'd be in a whole lot of trouble. I could even get sent up the river. You wouldn't want that, would you? Would you?
No, of course not, kid.
All right. That's better. What are you looking at, punk?
Keep your eyes on the soup, kid.
Well?
Well, what?
What are you still doing here?
Sorry, kid. I'll just run back to the safe house.
You do that. And McFly,
Yes?
that hat's too flashy. You better let me hold on to it.
Aw,
Now scram!
you got it, boss.
And don't come out until I give you the all clear. I swear, if even one of you mooks could add 2 + 2 without your fingers, I'd dump that wimp into the lake. Hey! Anyway, I'm off to make myself irresistible. Don't let anyone burn down the shop while I'm gone.
Vale, o sea que es nuestro abuelo. El abuelo McFly. ¿Podemos entrar?
The kitchen's for management only, rummy.
¡Wow!
Vale, algo tenemos que hacer por aquí, ¿eh? Sí. ¿Hablaremos con este señor? ¿Y este? Chico.
I better not talk to him. I don't want to mess up his timeline.
¿Es cierto? La paradoja temporal. Exactamente. ¿Esto?
Maybe I should go to the jail and talk to Doc before I start dialing random people in 1931.
Puerta de la cocina. No, no podemos, no podemos.
There's no way I'm gonna keep that door open without some help.
Espera, espera, espera. Vale. Es que me estoy equivocando con los controles, tío.
Okay. Hey, never mind.
No, mind. No, pues nada. Salimos de aquí. No nos hacen caso. ¿Listo? Tubería.
Looks like these pipes go into the basement.
A lo mejor el sótano está en otro sitio. Tuberías, ¿no? Sí. No. Vale. Vamos a ver a Doc.
Sisters of Mercy Soup Kitchen. Come for the soup, stay for the salvation.
Vale, aquí está. La comisaría.
Hill Valley Police Station. Cripes, this place looks old, even for 1931.
¿Podemos entrar? No, no podemos. Ventana de la cárcel.
Doc!
Ahí está.
Marty,
Doc!
what are you doing here?
You sent for me, Doc.
I did? When?
May 14th, 1986.
1980? The automatic retrieval system. Of course. I'd almost forgotten about that.
So what's our plan for getting you out of here?
Plan? We don't need a plan.
We don't.
Not in the slightest. The police picked me up for that speakeasy fire a couple of weeks ago, but the DA hasn't got a case. They're releasing me tomorrow morning.
So basically, I traveled 50 years into the past to deliver your car?
Sorry about that, but it's so wonderful to see you. We have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, you might want to hold off on that, Doc.
Great Scott! I'm going to be gunned down by gangsters on the steps of the courthouse.
Why would they do that?
Guess they didn't approve of my burning down their speakeasy.
Very funny, Doc. Maybe now we should come up with a plan.
A plan? Right. But what?
Volvamos en el tiempo, peleemos. Hablemos con los gángsters.
Hey, maybe I could talk to the gangsters. Tell them they're about to shoot the wrong guy.
I don't think the criminals of this era are going to be very receptive to a complete stranger telling them that their secret assassination plan is misguided, do you?
Ya. ¿Peleemos?
Why don't we try to tough it out? Now that we know what's coming, maybe we sneak it past the gangsters with a bulletproof vest or something.
That might work with 1 or 2 bullets, but from the looks of this article, it appears that I'm going to be mowed down in a hail of Tommy gun fire that rendered the innocent stranger little more than a pulpy mass of bones and gristle.
Who writes like that?
According to the byline, one Edna Strickland.
I should have guessed. Why don't I take the DeLorean, go back in time before you were arrested, and stop you from getting caught in the first place?
Don't even think about it. Without my unjust incarceration, the events that sent you into the past might never happen, resulting in a paradox of continuum-shattering proportions.
Jeez, we've been back together for 5 minutes, Doc, and you're already talking about the end of the universe. I've missed that.
Don't be ridiculous, Marty. I was only referring to the end of the universe as we know it.
La superparadoja temporal.
Why don't we tell the authorities?
Tell them what? That my friend from the future has proof that I'll be murdered tomorrow? They'd ship us both off to the loony bin. And trust me, you don't want to see the inside of a 1931 insane asylum.
Vale.
Well, I suppose I could just get some dynamite and break you out of jail.
No, that's far too dangerous. Not just to me, but to random innocent people in the past. The repercussions could be... That's it!
What's it?
My rocket-powered drill.
You have a rocket-powered drill?
Not yet. I haven't built it yet.
You've lost me, Doc.
Listen, a few months ago, my 17-year-old self sent in a patent application for a rocket-powered drill. I abandoned the project after I never heard back from the patent office, but the prototype should be nearly complete.
Great, I'll just run back to your lab and...
No, I said nearly complete. You'll need me to help you finish it.
How the hell am I supposed to sneak a half-finished rocket-powered drill into your cell?
Not me. 1931 me.
Wait a minute, Doc. You want me to convince your 1931 self to build a rocket-powered drill to break you out of jail?
Precisely.
Ostras.
Won't talking to yourself cause, irreparable damage to the space-time continuum or something?
It should be fine. I've already invented the idea of the rocket drill. You've just got to goad my younger self into finishing the prototype.
Vale.
How am I supposed to convince your younger self to finish the rocket drill? Just tell him I need to break his older self out of jail?
Absolutely not. Whatever you do, you can't tell my younger self anything about time travel. I won't come up with the inspiration for the flux capacitor for another 24 years.
Then what am I supposed to...
Just be your charming self. From what I remember, I'm a pretty easygoing kid, so enlisting me in a scientific adventure should be a piece of cake.
Vale, pues esa, o sea, cosas de la ciencia. Cosas de la ciencia, no vamos a decirle eso. Vale. ¿Dónde está tu joven?
Okay, let's say I go along with this crazy idea. Where can I find you? I mean, the other you.
How should I know? It was over 50 years ago. Why don't you go over to the soup kitchen next door and give my house a call? They'll know where to find me.
Soup kitchen. Got it.
Just stay away from the soup. It'll cause irreparable damage to your digestive system.
Vale, ahora tenemos que volver al comedor. Vale.
I guess I better get started. Don't worry, Doc. I'll get you out of here in no time.
I'm not worried. Once you and my younger self put your heads together, you'll be unstoppable.
Vale, pues tenemos que ir a... volver al comedor de la beneficencia. Y telefonear. Vamos. Vale. Ahí está.
Brown results?
Hi. Do you know where I could find Emmett Brown?
Young Master Brown is currently tending to his clerking duties at the courthouse. Who may I say is calling?
The courthouse? Doc never told me he worked at the courthouse.
Vale, eso es en la torre. Eso es en la torre. Vale, nos piramos. ¡Ey! Perdón. No. Vamos. Eso es en la torre. Vale, vamos. Pero no hay nadie, está abierto, está cerrado. ¿Qué pasa, Amy?
Hey, how you doing, Einie?
Pues no sé. Es aquí, ¿no? ¡Eh!
Don't touch those. These are very sensitive legal documents. Nobody is supposed to handle them but sworn officers of the court. Judge Brown says so.
Es el joven Doc.
Brown? Doc. Nice to meet you. I'm Michael, Corleone.
Emmett Brown. But I am a law clerk, not a doctor. Now please get out of my way. I have important business to transact.
Vale.
Naturally, H2A multiplied by the
Tenemos que hablar con él.
has to come out less than expectation value.
Listen, Emmett, you don't know me, but I'm your friend.
I'm not big on friends. They get in the way of work.
What's this important business you're up to?
It's a legal matter, very complicated, very abstruse. I need to obtain 5 sets of initials on every copy of this writ of indemnification before before Judge Brown can even think of granting a waiver to the party in the first part.
You have no idea what it's about, do you?
That's how important it is.
Come on, Doc. Emmett, drop the Legal Eagle Act. I got something more important for you to do.
Mr. Corleone, I'll have you know that the law is the very mortar that holds society together, and we in the legal profession are like brick masons building the edifice of the future.
Your dad tell you that?
Every morning.
Vale, ¿qué hora terminas?
So, Emmett, what time are you through with work?
Depends. On weeknights, Pop sometimes keeps me in the office till 9.
9 at night? But today's Saturday.
Right. So I probably won't get off before 10.
How about you knock off work early and I'll buy you a beer, or soda. What do you say?
Don't try to tempt me from my duty with sugary beverages. Keeping the wheels of justice turning, that's my one passion in life. Besides, if I left before 8, my pop would kill me.
Sounds like you're a little scared of your father.
Scared of my father? Pop is the most learned, just, incorruptible judge that Hill Valley has ever seen. The only people scared of Judge Brown are people with a dark secret to hide. And I don't have a dark secret to hide.
Listen, I understand you're working on a new invention in your lab.
Invention? You must have me mixed up with somebody else. I'm in law. I have absolutely no interest in science. A multiplied by the inverse of A.
Come on, wait up a minute.
You again? Can't you see I'm busy?
See, I'm sort of in the science business myself. That's why I sought you out.
Not that I care in the least, because science is the furthest thing from my own area of interest, which is law, but I don't believe you.
Vale,
It's true. I'm a scientist.
So tell me something, Mr. Scientist, from your vast storehouse of scientific knowledge.
The leg bone's connected to the thigh bone?
Amazing.
Okay, so you don't want your old man to know. That's fine. Listen, we all keep secrets. But I'm telling you, you can level with me about this science project of yours.
I am not a scientist. Go ahead, ask me what E equals.
What does E equal?
I have absolutely no idea. See? I don't know where you got your information from about me, mister, but you're wrong.
Vale, ¿qué hacemos, tío?
Times acceleration, of course. That's Newton. But how many Newtons?
Cuaderno de Doc.
Are required to maintain a constant mass if acceleration is reduced by the inverse of its derivative of the speed relative to the speed of light. Oh, it
Ver,
brings
tío.
back to H.
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
Come on, you could trust me, Doc. Emmett, it's your future I'm looking out for, in more ways than one.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you and science.
Oh, that word again! If you insinuate I'm a scientist once more, I'll sue you for defamation of character!
Me parece que esto no va a ser de nada, ¿eh?
This notebook has all of Doc's plans for the flux capacitor and the DeLorean. I'd better make sure it never falls into the wrong hands.
Vale, está con lo de... Aquí está.
Or do we take H to stand for the Hermitian line operator? Well, in that case, H to the A multiplied...
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone!
Emmett, about your...
Don't say it! Now,
No.
if H stands for a one-dimensional harmonic oscillator, then naturally H to A multiplied by the inversion of A...
A ver, este tío. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué
Hey, how you
hacemos?
doing, Einie?
Vale, a ver, tenemos que... A ver, vamos a ver a Doc. A ver si nos puede darle alguna pista. Porque lo estoy intentando convencer y no funciona, tío. Lo estoy intentando convencer y no funciona. Yo creo que tenemos que hacer algo con el diario. Y empezamos. Ah, es que estos ángulos de cámara, tío, son malísimos. A ver, no, para la izquierda, por favor, para la izquierda. Vamos a hablar con nuestro Doc. Vamos a hablar con nuestro Doc, a ver si podemos... No sé.
Doc.
Marty, have you found my younger self yet?
Bueno, conocí a tu joven ya.
Well, I met your younger self.
Great.
And I gotta say, you're kind of uptight.
What?
You won't even talk to me.
I find that hard to believe. Tell me what happened.
Me dice que no es un científico.
I tried asking him about your rocket drill, but he says he's not a scientist.
What? What? Father.
What's he got to do with this?
In 1931, I was still deathly afraid of my father discovering the truth about my scientific predilections, so I carefully kept them under wraps, practicing science at odd hours, away from his prying eyes.
That sucks.
It sucked a lot. Fortunately, I eventually stood up to him, but right now, my younger self probably thinks he's been sent by my father to check up on me.
¿Cómo puede hacer que el joven confíe en mí?
What do I do to convince Teen Doc that I'm not a spy?
I'm not sure.
Joder, ¿cómo que no estoy
What
seguro?
do I do to convince Teen Doc that I'm not a spy?
I'm not sure.
Jo, pues menuda ayuda.
Why does your younger self mutter all the time?
Muttering? Why would I be muttering? I never mutter unless... The Hill Valley Expo!
The expo?
Yes, the Expo! How could I have forgotten? In a few months, the younger me will put on a demonstration at the Hill Valley Exposition, my first public foray into the world of science. Everyone in town will be there, including a number of noted inventors who shaped my career.
So, it was a big success?
No, it was a miserable failure, but it was a spectacularly miserable failure, one which marked my transition from an amateur garage scientist into a professional seeker of truth.
Vale, entonces tenemos que hablarle de la expo.
What does this expo have to do with you muttering all the time?
When I was younger, I used to relieve stress by working on complex mathematical conundrums. No doubt my younger self is working on some impossible problem in an attempt to work off cerebral steam in the weeks before the exposition. What was I muttering about?
I don't know, h to the something with an inverse of something else. I'm not so good at equations.
That's too bad. I bet if we could solve my younger self's problem, he'd be more inclined to listen to you.
Vale.
I still can't figure out what your younger self is muttering about.
Blast! If only I could hear him myself.
You know, your younger self seems really dedicated to the law.
It's a facade, I assure you. I had to keep up appearances to appease my father.
Vale.
Let's talk about your younger self's problems later.
Okay, but don't forget we're on a bit of a deadline here.
Vale, tenemos una grabadora aquí. Grabadora, ahí está. Tenemos que grabarle. Porque así nos puede ayudar Doc en este tema. Vale, tenemos que poner aquí, cruzar. Vale, cruzamos. Vamos. Tenemos que pillarle. Vale, no te da ni la hora. Tal vez si tuve... Sí, a ver. Vamos a ver. Vale, para salir y meter el clic, le puedo salir.
Or do we take H to stand for...
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
Es que, tío, ¿cómo hacemos?
And
¿Qué pasa? Se ha vuelto oscuro esto.
Constant variable.
Usar objeto. A ver, creo que...
To the A multiplied by the inverse of A might well be equal to A's expectation value, but only if the coefficient of frequency... Don't think, Emmett, think. H to the A multiplied by the inverse of A. H to the A multiplied by the inverse of A.
Uf, nos ha pillado, pero bueno. Vale, vamos a por Doc. Vale, gente, esto hay que hacerlo con el ratón. Es imposible hacerlo con mando esto. Es imposible hacerlo con mando. Esto se ha hecho con el ratón. Así que, chicos, lo vamos a tener que jugar con el ratón. Para ciertas cosas con el ratón. Lo que pasa es que, a ver, para manejarlo es más cómodo con el mando. Pero es que con cursores... Con cursores es más... Uf. Es muy, muy incómodo. Vale, es muy incómodo, así que ya veremos a ver qué hacemos. Vale, ahí está. Ahí está. Vale, ahí está.
So, Doc, does this ring a bell?
Oh, think, Emmett, think. H to the A multiplied by the inverse of A. H to the A multiplied by the inverse of A.
Good grief! Is that me? I sound so...
Young?
I was gonna say intense. I forgot how wound up I used to get.
Yeah, but what are you muttering about?
Oh, that's easy. It's Ivanov's conundrum. Just tell my younger self that H equals the Hamiltonian operator.
Won't giving him the answer mess up the time stream?
Only if it turns out that reality is actually nothing more than a holographic illusion created by the interplay of subatomic particles on a vast two-dimensional membrane.
So...
It'll be fine.
Jolín, tanto rollo. Tanto rollo científico, pues estaremos bien. Vamos, que no va a pasar nada porque la idea ya está hecha, ¿no? La idea ya está... Es solo decirle la solución, pero la idea él la tiene. ¿Dónde está? Aquí está. A ver.
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
Maybe H equals the Hamiltonian operator.
What did you just say?
I said maybe H equals the...
Hamiltonian operator?
Yeah!
Great Scott! If H is the Hamiltonian, then H to the A multiplied by the inverse of H can only be the same as the expectation value for A. That's it! That's the solution to Ivanov's conundrum, the problem I've been wrestling with in my head all week!
I'm sure you would have figured it out by yourself in a day or two. The way you figured out how to build that rocket-powered drill.
Where did you learn so much about science?
Soy del planeta Vulcano. Leo mucho Julio Verne. Julio Verne le gustaba mucho a Doc en las películas. A ver si
Well, it's like this.
You know about my rocket power drill? Then there can only be one explanation.
What?
You're from the patent office. I confess I didn't quite know what to expect when I sent the paperwork, but I never expected this. Welcome! I'm at your service. What can I do for you?
Necesito tu taladro. Realmente he visto tu taladro. ¿2 veces? 3 veces está esto repetido. Esto está mal.
Can I see your rocket-powered drill?
Of course, of course. Naturally, it's just a scale model, but it's nearly operational. I can show it to you, say, first thing in the morning.
Necesito un modelo totalmente operativo.
Nah, that's no good. I need to see a full-size model. That's fully operational. Tonight. Otherwise, we'll have to award the patent to a competing inventor, Dr. McCoy.
It can't be done! I mean, it might be possible to construct a full-size working model in that time frame, but I haven't got the main ingredient for the fuel.
I'll get it for you. What is it?
190 proof grain alcohol. And you know how difficult it is to get a hold of alcohol these days.
Especially now that someone's blown up the speakeasy.
And besides, there's no way I can get off work until I've delivered this subpoena. It's part of the investigation into the business affairs of Kid Tannen. Is it vitally important you see that rocket-powered drill today?
Yes. Is it vitally important you deliver that subpoena today?
Yes!
Listen, I'll help you deliver it, and I'll see to it you get the alcohol you need. It'll help you get that drill finished by tonight. Deal?
Deal. Here's the subpoena.
I've got to subpoena my grandpa?
It's Kid Tannen.
Hey, I just saw him at the soup kitchen yelling at Arthur McFly.
I'm not surprised. Arthur does the books for his business.
What kind of business?
That's what the DA is trying to find out.
Let's go talk to him.
No!
Why not? Kid Tannen can tell us where Arthur's hiding.
Yeah, well, he can also have us fitted for a Chicago overcoat.
Vale. Pues tenemos aquí objetivos, ¿no? Lo que pasa es que no sé cuáles son los objetivos. No nos sale aquí. A ver esto. La historia está ahora. Ah, vale, nos pone aquí esto. Vale, perfecto. Vale, salimos. ¿No? Salimos. Sí. Bueno. Se me ha quedado pillado. Ahora se me ha quedado pillado. Vale. Dándole escape. No sale. Ahora no sale. ¿Salir? ¿No sale esto? ¡Ay! Que se me ha quedado pillado. Bueno, gente, pues a ver si lo arreglo luego. Pero es que tenemos que despedir el directo. Tenemos que despedir el directo, gente. No sé, me quedó esto un poco... Oh, sí. No sé, me quedó esto un poco... Volver al juego. Madre mía. Esto, madre de Dios. ¿Qué está pasando aquí? Salir. Vale, no sé qué ha pasado. No sé qué está pasando, gente, lo siento. No sé qué pasa. A ver si doy con ello y no pierdo el guardado. Pero bueno, gente, lo dejamos aquí. Ya hemos conocido al joven doctor Emmett Brown, ¿vale? Al joven doc, que parece ser que no tiene ningún interés por la ciencia, que estaba estudiando Derecho, por la abogacía y esas cosillas, que bueno, eso en las películas no aparece, ¿vale? Esto es totalmente diferente. La historia puede cambiar dentro del juego, ¿vale? Puede coincidir cosas de la película, en alguna escena como la del capítulo anterior, pero esta historia es totalmente diferente, ¿vale? No es la película. Esto no es la película en absoluto, ni de la trilogía. Es un cambio de argumento, pero en el juego, ¿vale? No interpretarlo de otra manera. Pero bueno, gente, lo dicho, espero que pueda recuperar esto, que pueda arreglar este bloqueo raro, madre mía, y a ver si podemos continuar en el siguiente capítulo. Si no, tendré que volver a repetir todo hasta aquí. Pero bueno, es que, madre mía, yo no entiendo ya que esté con bugs estos juegos. Gente, lo dicho, nada más, lo dejamos aquí. Espero que os haya gustado y ya sabéis que hacerlo de siempre, como siempre. Un buen pulgar hacia arriba si os mola o hacia abajo si no. Y si me queréis dar ese apoyo que como siempre os agradecería un montonazo, pues suscribiros al canal. Nada más, gente, como siempre, un fuerte beso y abrazo a todos y a todas. Muchas gracias de nuevo por estar aquí en el canal y nos vemos el próximo capi aquí con Marty McFly. Regreso al futuro. Más. Regreso.